This is part of a test originally proposed by Tom Wilcox when we first got the camera. And he said he'd sure like to see lathe cutting tools, sharp and dull. So, as I've already stated, I don't do a lot of lathe work, but I do have my old Powercraft Ward's clone, I think. And I got it set up here, running everything sort of on sawhorses and whatnot. And I've got my lathe tools, which are cheap. They are the second. This is part of a test originally proposed by Tom Wilcox when we first got the camera. And he said he'd sure like to see the difference at the cutting tip of various sharpness lathe tools at high speed. And I think that sounds like an awesome idea. I've got the old Powercraft set up here. We are running everything on sawhorses, but that'll be fine. And I have got my lathe tools, which are cheap. I don't do this a lot. These are the premium from Harbor Freight. So I'm sure you can guess what quality they have. They have no markings of any kind. They just say HSS. I'm going to go ahead and show you the 600 frames per second shot. Be right up there. While I explain what we're doing here. This is a piece of very old mahogany. These boards were probably cut in the 1950s or 60s, and I have taken and trimmed this one down round, hopefully to get rid of the vibration issues that plagued our last shot. I have the camera, the Edgertronic here set up, and I have marked the prime focus zone right here. And what I'm going to do is spin this up to speed and just make a couple of lazy passes back and forth so that you can see. Now I'm going to refocus the camera on this spot over here, and we're going to kick it up to 1,000 frames a second and take the same shot. You will find that up in this corner. At 1,000 frames per second, we should be getting an incredibly detailed look at exactly what is happening down there at the cutting tip. 1,000 frames a second. With the dull test completed, I took a moment to put a razor's edge on it before I started the duplicate sharp test at the same 6 and 1,000 frame per second rates. And, well, you'll just have to see. With a sharp edge on the lathe tool, we're going to try this again. This is shot at 1,000 frames a second, and I hope I've got a little better light. That will let us get right down in there and see. And one last shot here in this particular series. To help round things out, here is the sharpened lathe tool back at 300 frames per second. So what's to be learned by this? Well, in this bone, dry, brittle old mahogany, you don't really see a lot of difference. Other than quantity, it does seem to eject a larger quantity with less effort. As far as the difference in the chips, it's not much. I did take this same chisel and retouch it to green maple, and the chips came off like planer shavings.
shavings, long, stringy shavings. So we're going to revisit that, see if I can find a way to, I don't know, contrast it better so that the white wood and the white shavings don't blend together. This was a fun test. I got a little better with the camera, but we're getting there, and we will come back to this. Again, if you have anything you'd like to see in slow motion, please suggest it. We'll have a shot. Thanks for watching.